America's Parks was right. This place is awesome. I know America's Parks, Randy called this his favorite national park of all 62. I wouldn't go quite that far, but this is an absolute gem. Hello everyone, National Park Wild. I'm Eric. Today, I'm going to be reviewing Dry Tortugas National Park. I went for Labor Day weekend, spent a Sunday there. It was a really nice park to go to. I'm going to go through the different things that I saw and did, and why I enjoy this park so much. Because this is probably top 20. Out of the 50 national parks I've been to, that really is saying something. Let's start from the beginning. You can get there by either ferry or seaplane, and I took the seaplane. It is absolutely amazing. You are not too high up, so you can see turtles and islands and shipwrecks from the plane. I saw dozens of turtles on the way there. It is a really beautiful flight that you get to take. The Marquesas Islands are quite nice, and they are sort of scattered around coral reefs. You fly over a marine sanctuary, so you get to see some of the coral reefs through the water. The water is pretty much crystal clear, so there is that going for it. And I just really do like flying and being high above these sites. I haven't done a whole lot of flight seeing stuff in national parks, but this was really fun. You also happen to get to the island something like 2 hours before the ferry, so there are very few people on the island. As a matter of fact, when we arrived, there were only 20 guests and 3 rangers in total, so that was a really nice surprise. And as we neared the island, we got to see a beautiful rainbow. And as we flew over Fort Jefferson, seen here, a really beautiful sight, the rainbow was behind it. It's a bit faint, but it can be seen, and that was a highlight of the trip for me. And as we touched down, we noticed how many birds there are flying around the islands, and this flight was one of the best things about Dry Tortugas, honestly. And there are many really great things to see. So let's get to the actual fort. Fort Jefferson in Dry Tortugas is a 19th, 18th century fort where you can see where old prison cells were and how they maintained the prison. It is made entirely out of bricks. Some 16 million were put into it. It is still really bright and colorful, has a nice sort of courtyard in the middle. I really do like that. Unfortunately, the main lighthouse had scaffolding. I don't like scaffolding. But it is a really pretty fort, and the history is quite rich. If you like history, you'll definitely enjoy this. I personally do. There are many egrets flying around in the middle of the courtyard, and the bricks still look really strong and sturdy today. It was never used for military purposes, but was intended to be. I do really enjoy walking around the fort. The sheer size, the sunlight on the bricks was really nice, and it is just a very pleasant fort. Not to mention that it is along the water. It takes up most of the island. There's a moat around it, so there's this little oasis sort of area where you can see barracudas. That's what I am showing in the video right now. I did not expect to see any barracudas when we went here, but we did, and it was really cool. There were also ghost crabs and hermit crabs around the fort, and you can also see other islands like Loggerhead Key, which is a cool, smaller one with a lighthouse. You can see magnificent frigate birds flying around the island. I did like the frigate birds. They're some of my favorite birds that you can see in an American national park. And just walking around the fort, the rich history does sort of feel like you're stepping back in time. And the very nice water sort of adds a nice contrast in the colors. The frigate birds, again, are quite nice to see. And there are 3 different levels. The top flight, you can see all around the island and the Dry Tortugas. You can see into the courtyard and all around the ocean. It is a really, really beautiful place. It is one of the most history-rich national parks. I'd say next to Mesa Verde, the most. I definitely recommend spending time here because Fort Jefferson alone is a fantastic site. But there is a lot more to this, and we're going to get to that soon. There were a lot more birds, even some lizards on the island, unfortunately some rats, pelicans, cormorants, and there are a lot of things to see here. I like that the island is small, but never felt stuffy because of how few people there are. I became a junior ranger, which is very nice. I should also note that all videos and photos are mine that I took on the trip. Anyway, walking inside, outside, on top, around the fort, it's just a really pleasant experience. There isn't a whole lot else to say, besides the fact that there were famous prisoners like Dr. Samuel Mudd, and that hermit crabs were inside of the fort, like this one here and that one there. But this is just a really nice place to walk around and learn. But now let's get to the snorkeling. That's the real reason I came. I love snorkeling, and I don't think Florida's really as good as some other places. And for the most part, Dry Tortugas I didn't think was going to be that great. It's mostly just a lot of seagrass around the fort. There are some coral things like this right here in the video. We didn't see a whole lot of fish. I did see a crab and a couple large ones. And it is cool to be right along the fort in the shallow water. But what really stood out was the coaling docks. South Beach, right around by the ferry parks, there are these pilings. And coral is now living on them. And it forms a sort of labyrinth. It is colorful, tons of different shapes. Some fallen bricks are inside of the water, like these seen here, and they are also kind of cool. But it's really the coaling docks that stand out. They are absolutely beautiful. I've been to Great Barrier Reef before, and I think Dry Tortugas snorkeling is the closest thing to that level. And that is one of the most beautiful places in the world, in my opinion. I'm just going to let you guys see the snorkeling footage now because it's just absolutely beautiful. The coaling dock stuff is really amazing, and there were a lot more animals. We saw parrotfish, barracudas. Just watch for yourself. I think you'll enjoy this. Labyrinth of coaling docks and coral, full of fish and life, was a really unforgettable experience, and one of the great things about Dry Tortugas. So now let's review. What makes this park so great? For me, it's the fact that while none of its 3 attractions are awe-inspiring mountain vistas or vast deserts, but all 3 of them are really great and on about the same level of quality. Like Yellowstone, rather than focusing on one great attraction, this one has many very good ones. I really enjoy coming here. The wildlife, We saw sharks on the way back on the seaplane, by the way. The coral reefs, the history, the fort, the seaplane ride, it all is a really great place. I know I just finished ranking all the national parks. That took me a little while. But if I were to put this in, I've now been to 50 national parks. This was my 50th. This would rank number 19. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and looking at my footage. I definitely encourage you to check this out. It takes some effort to get to. You have to go to Key West and then take transportation, but it's absolutely worth it. Subscribe to the channel for more content. Like the video if you enjoyed. Comment your thoughts on Dry Tortugas or any questions you have. I will see you next time.